What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I wanted to go over the altcoin market and see exactly what we can look at for today, right? So obviously yesterday, a bit of a mixed bag. A lot of tokens actually moved up and then actually got rejected from key levels, and then but some tokens are still holding certain areas, right? So I'm gonna go over a couple tokens that I'm looking at for today in terms of setups. There's obviously Ton that's looking pretty good for continuation high. I did actually take it along yesterday on Ton, hopefully to see a bit of a push higher. We're going to speak about some other tokens as well. So yeah, let's see what happens and hope you guys are having a good day. So first of all, I want to quickly speak about the total 3 chart here. Let's have a look at the daily. So first things first, you can see on the 200-day moving average, right? This is the EMA, and being below this level on the daily tells us that there is potential for price to continue reversing from this level, right? So we need to start to see like price start closing back above this 0.5 fib level, which is what we've been getting rejected from yesterday as well, and obviously the day before. So we need to see price start closing back above the zone in order for continuation higher. Because for right now, it's still looking like we can still get a rejection from the zone. Not closing above this wick, these wicks over here is showing that structurally right now we are still below key levels. This is a massive zone we spoke about yesterday. So honestly, total 3 is not looking as good as what we want it to be in terms of the altcoins getting a push, but there are certain tokens that are looking quite good for move higher, right? The one token that I'm currently in right now is a ton long. We entered over here, retest of this level, looking pretty good for continuation higher. 4 hour time frames holding that trend line over there. The 1 hour as well. So I'm expecting Ton to continue higher from here. Nothing's obviously guaranteed, but yeah, this is the one setup that I'm currently in with a low leverage on this trade, just because the stop loss is around about 8%. This TP is around 18, so 1:2. So definitely worth looking at if you guys are interested in looking for a setup set. This is one trade I'm looking at. I mean, Ton's been pretty bullish. We can't deny that, right? Closing back above the 200-day moving average, 4 hour, looking pretty decent for continuation to the upside. Yeah. So honestly, this is a token that I'm currently in for a long setup right now. Like I said, nothing's guaranteed. This can or cannot. You don't know if it's going to play out, but this is part of my strategy. And yeah, it does look like it can continue higher. Another token that I did I bought on spot, right, is Atom, just because I do think that this breakout's pretty clean above the value area high. The daily time frame also closed above the zone. This falling wedge pattern over here, eventually broke out, got the retest, and we're starting to see a bit of movement for Atom here. So one of the tokens that buying spot now for me looks pretty decent. You can look for 15% to this level, to the obviously the 200-day moving average. But you can also look to play like an 80% move to the upside. So one of the tokens looking pretty good in my opinion. Like I said, some tokens are gonna rip, some tokens might not, right? And Atom looks like one of them that may. Obviously the same thing with Ton, which is why we went long on Ton. We currently like around break even on this trade. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Then STRK, I'm still in this this spot position. I still think that there's more upside. Yeah, the weekly time frame is just creating a bottom wick. I still think that this weekly candle can flip bullish here, and we see a nice push to the upside. So still in that one. XRP as well. I do think XRP looking pretty decent as well. We did get a breakout on the daily time frame. Spot bars personally looking pretty good as well. Getting a daily breakout here is pretty clean. Looking for upside back up to the 200 EMA, 16% moves to upside. Definitely one to look at here, XRP guys. So I already speak about XRP, but we finally getting this breakout. Whenever we do break above like these key levels on XRP, we do see quite a big move. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we do get a nice little push here. I'll let you guys know what happens in the next coming days. But yeah, XRP, it's definitely the one to look at. So it's XRP, Atom, Ton is obviously the one we went long on. But then, there's also some other tokens that are breaking structure to, Pendle's obviously done really, really well, holding this 200-day moving average, which is pretty good here, guys. I will try to look for a long today. Pendle or within this week. Definitely a token worth looking at, breaking structure to the upside continuously, holding this level here. I do think that we might retrace a little bit more, but definitely looking for a potential move for Pendle. Nia is getting a nice little push there. Nothing really interesting to look at for Nia though. Like Audi breaking back below this level here, just not a good sign, right? And then Ethereum not looking good, losing a lot of steam here for ETH. This is the key zone for Ethereum. Closing below the zone over here is not good. So like you can see, like some altcoins are looking pretty decent, then Ethereum is just absolutely getting rinsed, right? It's more of a Bitcoin dominated market. Obviously looking at Bitcoin dominance looking pretty good, but some altcoins are going to move just based on like certain narratives within the week or month that move some specific tokens. So I'm not really interested in much else in terms of buying spot right now. But yeah, just Ethereum is just basically waiting to see. If you look at the daily here, this type of pattern is not really good. Looking like a bit of a head and shoulders pattern could potentially break down here. We do have this higher trend over here that you can look at, but this type of in a trend on the 4-hour is something definitely to watch out for here for Ethereum. Breaking below here is just not a good sign for Ethereum. Okay, not saying that some tokens can't move. It's just for the broad, the broad market. It's not a good sign. So that's kind of the game plan today. Obviously, Tau played out pretty nicely. When was it? Last week, right? Last week, Friday. We did actually get a long on Atom yesterday. Almost hit the TP, and then we ended up closing out break even. But I'm just buying this on spot today. Daily candle showing that this is a potential move higher here for Atom. So we'll see. Let's see what happens there. I hope everyone has a good day. Hopefully our trades work. And then also, I will be going over some other tokens, and I'll post them in the group just so you guys know what's happening. But I appreciate everyone for joining, and I hope you guys have a great day.